Hi, and welcome to the daily market review for 23/18. So today we started a massive week of earnings. We got Google today. We had Google today. We got let's see, Caterpillar tomorrow. That's gonna move the Dow big, depending, and 3M. So these two are definitely on watch for tomorrow morning. Going into Wednesday, we got Boeing and Twitter. We got Wednesday after hours, we got Facebook, Visa, and PayPal. Thursday before open, we got ABB is a biotech company, and we got UPS. And Thursday after hours, big guns reporting: Amazon, Microsoft, Intel. We also got Baidu, but it's the Chinese company, so not a big impact here. So this video I'm gonna be talking about these particular charts on these the one that I've circled. We're gonna look into the charts on these particular plays going into this week, since the earnings week. So I'm doing something different this time. I want to talk about the plays that I will be watching and probably playing before or after earnings, not playing the earnings. There's one play out of this that I will be playing earnings, no matter what. But everything else, I'm just gonna probably play after or before earnings. So let's start. But before we start into anything, let's just go over the SPY, QQQ, and IWM. So what happened today? No news in the market. The big news today was that the 10-year yield going up to 3%. Well, big whoop, no big deal. We've seen it before. See what happened back over here. Massive pullback. We're not gonna go down that much now. With the earnings, everything coming up, I think it's already priced into all this stuff. Just be cautious. Trade small, but be cautious. But positive thing is that if we had to drop. Because last time when it came here, it did not even come. It came to like 2.96, 2.95, and we dropped so much. Today we hit 2.99, and we hardly had anything. 0.04, hardly even 0.1%. I mean, that's nothing. So it's priced in. Just be cautious. Just watch the earnings and just watch the market. That's about it. So let's start with SPY ETF. Yesterday, today is what? Today is Monday. Yeah. So Thursday, we hit the 270 mark. Well, there's also some resistance at the 100 SMA. And we pulled back on Friday. Usually it's a option expiration day monthly. So obviously there was some option killing going on there. And today we had some nice, ups and downs, a volatile market. People who love volatile market. Definitely had a great day today, So I did too. I mean, I had bought calls. Actually, I'll talk about it later. But the SPY held on to 265.72. That's the support that I have, which was also a previous resistance in this area over here. It's a support over here, and a massive resistance in this area. So we just came back and testing that now. We bounced off that support line on Friday. Again, today we tested and we bounced off. So it's a positive thing, coming back, testing the old resistance and new support now. Extremely low volume even into the earnings, so that's just something you have to be careful about. But besides that, the chart says we go up. I think we hit the 270 and then 273 in soon. I guess in a week or so. So eyes on SPY. I mean, I think it's very strong now. QQQ. Same thing. I actually swung some calls on QQQ. I was actually kind of worried over the weekend. But we got the news from North Korea that, Kim Jong-un is going to be stopping his missile testing and everything. So that's a positive news for the market. Again, we hit that 264 resistance on Friday. We pulled back. We tested the 38.2 fib line, 162 level. Today we kind of dipped underneath it. We closed below it, but I think after hours we're pretty good. Right now we're at 162.13. pretty good. Google had good numbers. We are moving up after hours. So I bought some Q calls. I had 163 Q calls for May. I actually bought 9 of those on Friday before close. Sold it in the morning at like 163.50ish, I guess. It was a nice gain overall. So yeah, I mean, that was a good play. A little risky and ballsy, but I guess it paid off. So yeah, just watching the charts, I mean, I saw this, it held that support on Friday. I bought it at the support of the 162. It went to almost 164-ish. I mean, I sold a little early, but I mean, that's fine. No regrets. I had bought 9 contracts for like, I think 330, and I sold that, I think 385-ish. So that was a good play. IWM, I still like IWM overall. I think it's a very strong, been very strong in this market. Over here, it hit that resistance over in this range over here on last week Wednesday. You can see it. 160 is obviously the major resistance, but you can see that 158 is also a resistance. In the past over here, then a little bit over here, and then again on Thursday, and then Wednesday and Thursday we had a drop. We filled the gap on Friday, and then we come back and test that 13 SMA. I don't think we're going to go to 153. Okay, not going to 153 unless we got some really bad news. I think tomorrow, this is a bull flag in my opinion, nice bull flagging here, and then a pop. It does that every now and then. You see this nice 3 red candles and a pop. So same thing goes here. 4 red candles if you look at it, and a pop coming here soon. The same thing if you look in the Qs. You got 3 red candles and a pop coming soon, and the same on SPY. 4 red candles and a pop coming. So it's a bull flag. I like it. I'm watching. I'm no entry in here, but I will definitely be looking into it tomorrow for some day trading. Now let's look at CAT, as that's the first one tomorrow morning. Now CAT is a manufacturing company, infrastructure. They are heavily they are mostly businesses in China, and that's the concern going into tomorrow. With all the tariff news and everything, who knows what happens? What are their sales? How are they doing? I don't think any tariff this news is going to impact in this quarter, but their guidance might be affected. So let's look at the chart. Now there's a couple of things to look at. I'm going to talk in detail about each particular what I'm seeing different trends here. So let's start with the negative trend. Made an all-time highs back in January in the Q4 earnings, and been on a downtrend since then. It got some nice support at this 140. Actually, let's just do this price level. Nice support at this 143 level. So it's been downtrending since then. I would like this to either break out tomorrow, or it needs to hold this 143 tomorrow. If they have good numbers and good guidance, they should pop and make it move up, and I'll show where it could go from there. And if they don't have good numbers, or whatever, something goes wrong, if there's just a sell-off only on good numbers, as we know that happens too, 143 needs to hold. If not, let's look at the 200 SMA, and that is way down into the 138s. So that's a way down in this area. So you gotta be careful. And my concern that today was that it did not run into the earnings. There was no running. It's not even moving after hours. So no run into the earnings on Caterpillar, unlike last time. Last time you see it right here. Starting from 1/3, obviously 1/3. Obviously we had a massive January. And then, even then, it didn't really run into that earnings that much. So that's one thing, is the downtrend that I'm looking into Caterpillar. Other thing that I look, if they have good numbers, is that I see a cup and a handle forming here. This is a nice cup and a bull flag and a pop. That could also be a possibility. You're seeing a nice cup here, a handle, and a pop. If it pops, where does it go? So let's look at some Fibonacci's here. All right, so all-time highs, bring it down to this lower 138s over here, and it hit it. So what? Let's look at. Right now it's getting stuck at the 155, which is at 50% fib line. If it pops, 160 and 165 can easily be achievable if it pops. If not, then 138 needs to hold. 138 is your 200 SMA right now on Caterpillar. So that's what we're watching right now on CAT, is right here. A downtrend 138, up 160 to 165. I doubt we hit the 170s, but definitely 160 to 165 can happen on CAT tomorrow. The big one, there's nothing much after hours tomorrow, just Texas Instruments, not a really big market mover. So yes, it's a chip stock, semis and all that. We'll watch, but I don't think it's really a big deal. iRobot either, nothing much in after hours. So Boeing, let's talk Wednesday morning, Boeing. Now another one, just like CAT, heavy into Dow, will definitely move the market on Wednesday morning. So what happens? Well, let's remove this fib first, and let's just talk the chart. This has been pretty much sideways for last, after the pullback, pretty much sideways. Nothing much going on here except them making the all-time highs in February. So you got some nice resistance at this level of the 340. We've been struggling to break that through. I guess you have earnings coming up, so that's what you're watching. 340 needs to break. But also what we can see here is that it's making a nice ascending triangle. So that's a good sign. If you're looking at it in a positive way, it's a very good sign, and can break out and then probably move up to this 355 area. Good. So this is a positive side of looking at the Boeings. The negative downside is that it's struggling to break 340. So that's the one thing. So if it doesn't break this, it can easily make this head and shoulder down and come down to this 320 level. So that's the level you're watching, is 320 or 355 if it breaks the thing. So right here is your channel, basically 355 or 320. So you're looking at least around $15 to $20 move on Boeing going into Wednesday morning, either upside or downside. These levels gotta hold. 155, 355, awesome, can move higher. 320 needs to hold. If that doesn't hold, we got the 200 SMA. I would say is pretty down to 285. They really need to suck at the numbers for this to drop to 285. You obviously got that 300 mental 310. A mental resistance support at 300 and 310, but 285 a little too far-fetched. But I mean, they really need to suck at the numbers for this to happen. So Boeing 320 level to watch on the downside, 355 on the upside. Moving on to Twitter. So this is also pre-market on Wednesday. Now this is the one I will be playing on the earnings, and there's a reason why. First time ever in the history of Twitter, they actually made profit last quarter, the Q4, and had a nice pop. In my opinion, this is probably going to do the same thing this time. If we look at the pattern, the same kind of pattern on the on Twitter, the market conditions have changed tremendously since that time. Absolutely, given, understand, but the pattern has been the same. You see this nice downtrend and a pop right before the earnings. Earnings were before the earnings. Same thing, a downtrend and a pop, a little sideways movement, which is perfect. Now the levels to watch on last time it popped almost close at 27, almost $10, almost $8 pop. I expect the same thing. I expect it to hit the $40 mark this time. 40.85 is what I'm looking at. Downside 27. Upside definitely $40. I guess I'm not playing heavy on Twitter calls. I only have 2 contracts. That's like $400. So I'm not playing, and I have May 32. So I have time on those 2. Even if it comes down, I'm gonna just hold them and see what happens. But I definitely am bullish on Twitter. I think this pops. It's been holding that 31 level. You can see after that pop last week, this line has been held 31.18, 31.18. Tried to make that move on Friday and held at 31.18. So I believe tomorrow definitely we're gonna make that move to 33 over here, and then probably pop to 40 on Wednesday morning. All right, Facebook. So we got Facebook. I don't really look at AMD. For me, it's a penny stock. It doesn't really do much to the market either. Yes, it does move Nvidia with it for some reason, but it's for me it's a penny stock under $10, $9. I don't look at it. Visa and PayPal. So Facebook, Visa, PayPal, the three other that I'm watching. Let's look at Facebook. I would not be playing Facebook. I would love to. I know this is gonna just have a massive crash on it one. But let's just kind of bring this down a little. Okay. So what do we got here? We came down to that 150 to 149 area from back in June, July on that massive pullback on their terrible news. And now we are stuck at this 166 level. Oh, 168. 168 was a massive consolidation area back in July, August, September, November, and all that. Held in that October, held in December, held in February 9th. So 165, a strong resistance. No, 168, sorry. A strong resistance. Now it's been consolidating here. They really need to kill this ER in a way where this pops back over 169, 170. And the only place I see this getting stuck here is not even 180. Let's see. Will be around this 175-ish, I would say. You're gonna have a lot of sellers at this 175 area. A lot of sellers. This is over here. You can see 175 was a support. So you're gonna see a lot of sellers at this 175. If they break that, 180 is possible. But downside, there is not much here. I mean, downside will be around this 161. And then 150. So they really need to you need to be careful on Facebook, as it could just be a sell the news event, because what they're up to, they will have to up their guidance on this one. Well, they probably will be down on the guidance because they will have to spend a lot of money on their privacy stuff on this year. So it's going to be a little tricky. Just watch it going into Wednesday after hours. I would not be touching Facebook. Visa. I like Visa. I like the chart. A nice, consolidation here. From the 123s came down to 116s. A nice U-shape forming, and then a nice consolidation after a breakout. Now we have ER Wednesday. And you can see what's getting stuck here. It's a resistance. 124 is a resistance. 125-ish resistance. Back over here. Resistance, resistance, and again same here. If it breaks out here, 126 and 127 and 130 on the cards. Good numbers come in. American Express had a great numbers. I expect this to pop and go to 131. And I will be playing this ER. I'll be playing just one contract, for shits and giggle. Have fun with it. Going to 131 for sure if they have good numbers, and if they are bad, 121 is a support. I see that to be held on to. PayPal. I like PayPal. PayPal actually just had a news after hours that eBay and PayPal have re-signed their deal from last ER, which actually caused this massive drop. Even though PayPal had good numbers, at this ER, PayPal reported that eBay is canceling their deal, their agreement. But today after hours, I think it was right here, eBay, PayPal signed new payments agreements. So that's a very good sign for PayPal and for eBay, but definitely for PayPal. And it had a nice pop, up 40 cents, 50 cents after hours. So good for PayPal. Let's look at the chart. So that's a positive sign, because I think they had to lower their guidance over here. If I remember correctly, they had to lower their guidance because of that. So that might up their guidance. So that would be a positive thing. Also, the chart is good. You can see this nice, let me just look at this real quick if I can do that right there. Okay, so a nice bull flagging going on here. and expect a pop here. I would not be playing the ER on this one just because, just because I would not be playing the ER. I hold calls right now, which I'll be getting out before the ER, but I would not be playing the ER. Let's look at the chart real quick. Let's see where, what does it have. Let's look at the Fibonacci first. See what supports we got on the on the downside, and where can it go on the upside. So obviously, we one thing we understand from this thing is that 72 is a strong support. We get it. 83 and $80 is a strong resistance. 80 is a strong resistance. You can see, yeah, it did break. It tried to break out one time here, but over here, and here, almost around this area. 80 is a strong resistance. Bad numbers, I expect it to come down to 72. Good numbers, I expect it to go up to 83 and 86, test that all-time highs. So I would not be playing ER on PayPal, but I like the chart. I like this, and I think tomorrow, or maybe Wednesday morning, I would like to get out at 83 on my calls and just be sitting out and watching this ER. We got a BV and UPS. I'll talk about ABBV in the end, but UPS is what I will be watching. I'm not playing the ER. I know there are people that will be definitely be watching. I played this quite a lot actually this year. I never played it before, but I like the charts. I like the run on it. So obviously got a strong support at 104. We know that was prior to the Amazon news hit and everything, and it's held that we played from here to here, from 104 to 111. Then it came down. We played again from 104 to 111. Great play. Again, it has a strong resistance at 107 too, as well, and a massive resistance at 111. Which also, if you look it back here, you can see this over here, which is a strong support, a massive resistance now. So if they have good numbers, I know FedEx had great numbers. FedEx reported really well. So if FedEx did, I expect UPS to do the same. And a pop comes in here, probably goes to, if they report really well, they break this 111, make their way to 115, and then possibly 121. And if they do that, they can easily fill that gap to 126. I understand it's a massive gap up, but it's possible. It's definitely possible because it's been, look at the consolidation. Look at this massive consolidation. So keep an eye on UPS. I'm not sure if I'm going to play this ER or not. I have not decided yet. I'm going to wait for I'm going to see the market. And if I get this dip to 107 one more time tomorrow, I might buy it and then I will play. But if I have 109, I'm not playing it. All right, let's talk. Three big guns here Thursday after hours. Amazon, Microsoft, Intel. Amazon. We expect Amazon reported last week that they have 100 million Prime members, subscribers. It's a great news, positive news. That's why, hence the pop on Thursday. Friday we had a pullback. We had a pullback today. Where do we go? Let's see if we have good numbers. Now, let's see if this pops up here. Yeah, it's being a pain. So let's do this price level. First, we got to break this 1576. That's also a resistance on Amazon. There we go. All right, so downside is pretty massive on here because this has been on a tear lately. So downside is pretty big. They miss a single thing on their numbers. We are looking at, I would say 1441 to 1400. Definite possible on Amazon if they miss anything. I doubt it, but you never know how the market takes the news, right? Today Google reported really well, and then it just kind of popped and kind of gave everything back. Other support that Amazon end up having is around this 1356. So that's almost $200 drop. I doubt that happens. That's what I'm saying. So 1440, I would keep an eye on a pullback for an entry for a long position on Amazon. Upside is 1617, which is also an all-time highs. So keep an eye on Amazon. I don't play Amazon. I will not touch it just because it's just too rich for me. but it moves the market. So you will obviously be able to play something else, because something like Qs, you can play Q calls or Q puts. You can play anything else that would move with Amazon, because Amazon will move the tech, will move the Qs. You can play something cheaper. So you don't have to play Amazon, but keep an eye on Amazon to find something else to play. Microsoft. Now Microsoft, I usually play long on Amazon, on Microsoft, but lately from last Friday and today, I bought this dip on Friday. I sold it, sold it at close. I bought the dip today. I sold it at close. I'm not holding this through overnight for some reason. I don't know why. I just don't feel comfortable holding anything overnight lately. Very small positions that I'm holding overnight, hardly 2% of my portfolio, not even. So mostly cash. I can always come back next day and then just buy something. Now this reminds me of that, a nice consolidation here, like a massive U-shaped consolidation after the earnings. A massive, nice consolidation. I expect this to break out. I expect them to have good numbers, and I expect this to make that way to 100. Now, let's look at the Fibonacci's here. Let's see the downside. Because Microsoft usually sells off after earnings. They don't really hold the gap. That's the issue with Microsoft. And it made a double top here, holding the 78.6 fib line on 94.36. I expect this to make a U shape and hit that 100. 100 is going to be a massive resistance on Microsoft if they do end up going there. Downside 92 and 90, $5 downside, and 88 and 89. So I would keep an eye on Microsoft. I'm not sure if I'm going to play an earnings on this one, because it usually sells off, doesn't really hold. But then what happens is that it actually runs the next day. So it sells off the day and then runs the day after. It does the same thing here, sells off and then kind of runs after. So I'm watching here. I would like to see this to hold it and then see, if it comes down to 94 again tomorrow, I would buy again and I would sell it again at 95. I'm gonna keep doing it until actually it breaks the 97. And the last, not the least, Intel. It's a chip stock. Semis have been a little bit struggling lately. Intel, I like the company. I think it's a beautiful chart. Let's take this Fibonacci out for a second and let's see what we got here. So obviously we got this from 2.9 now till now, a nice uptrend. Absolutely a beautiful uptrend. And we got this. In a way, we have an ascending triangle on Intel. I surely believe that they are gonna beat. They're gonna beat. This is gonna go to 56 to 58 on good numbers. On a downside, the only issue with this market is that it's seldom news events. Sometimes you just don't know. Even if they have good numbers, market will just sell off. You just don't know what will happen. So just have to be careful when you're playing earnings. You got a nice support at 50, and then you got a support, down at this 47 area. So if they do, sell off, watch 50 and watch 47. Anything under is going to be a gift to buy for long term. Worst come worst, you're gonna see this thing over here. That's the worst, is like 42. I doubt that's gonna come down that much, but that's the worst situation. 50 to 47 possible on the bad numbers. Definitely on good numbers. Let's see the Fibonacci. What does that give us? On the upside, we can see 57 to 61. And it's possible. It's absolutely possible. So I would keep an eye on this, and on Intel. Not sure if I want to play earnings here. So Microsoft and Intel, I'm not sure if I want to play, and Visa, and PayPal. Sorry, Visa and Twitter, I'm definitely gonna play for the earnings. The rest, I'm still not sure. I'm gonna see what they do. If I get any dips in between now and Wednesday, or then I'll decide. But until then, so far there's no decisions made on those plays. So I know this is a long video. I just wanted to cover this little different type of video this time, talking about the ERs. We all want to know. We all love to play ER because they're like YOLO, and you can really make good profits on these earnings play. It's just all about knowing, though, right? I mean, sometimes the good numbers can be a sell-off, and bad numbers could just be a rip on a stock. You never know what can move a stock. So just be careful when you're playing earnings in this market. And that's all I have for today. Good luck trading this week. Be careful, be smart, be patient, and